The moon was a sliver in the sky, only dimly shining on a winter night. Darkness clung to the snow-covered forest below, deep shadows lying beneath the bare, black branches. Through thick swaths of snow, a young cat struggles forward. Her head barely cleared the surface of the cold, white substance, and her brown, silver-striped coat was plastered to her sides, revealing a jutting ribcage. She had been running for many suns and moons now, relying on instinct and a darker resource, one that the kit tried hard to ignore. She took another faltering step, her paws numb. I have to get help, she thought faintly. Her next paw step slipped, and she fell into the icy drifts, weakly shivering. Through half-closed eyes, she stared up through the bare arms of the trees. The sky was dark and clouded, the claw-like moon half-covered. She struggled to stand, but there was no strength left in her thin, bony legs. After pushing herself for moons, she had finally reached the end. I can't die here. I can't. Mom. Cloud. Someone. Help me. I need to... Her vision was fading, her thoughts drifting away. Slowly, the white snow was engulfed in darkness. For a moment, the kit did not know where she was. She dimly recalled collapsing into the snow, but it seemed she had somehow survived. For the first time in what felt like forever, the kit did not feel the constant ache of hunger in her stomach. A warm draft ruffled her fluffy coat. Cat scent drifted on the breeze, tickling her nose. Opening her eyes, the kitten found herself in a clearing, the encircling trees heavy with leaves, and the sound of prey rustling around her. Where am I? Wasn't it winter? The she-kit struggled to her paws and looked around, confusion clouding her thoughts. Do not be afraid. The kit turned quickly to face the speaker, claws unsheathed and fur on end. A beautiful tabby cat stood before her, fur seeming to radiate light. The she-cat's blue eyes were like deep pools, and the kit found herself drowning in their calm depths. Where am I? The kit managed, and felt a prick of surprise. Her voice should have been rough from misuse. You are safe, the she-cat said, ignoring her question. You have died, however. There is still much for you to do, if you are willing to return. The kitten staggered backwards, blue-green eyes wide. I'm dead? What do you mean? Heart thumping with fear, her thoughts became scattered. I can't. I told myself I wouldn't die until I found them again. She stared up at the tabby desperately. I need to go back. Let me go back. Now. Blue eyes soft, the she-cat mewed. It is within my power to do just that. Use this life wisely. I cannot do this again. Will you keep this promise? The clearing was blurring, the strange cat's words growing faint. I will. Just, please. I need to find them. Her head was spinning now, and she stumbled. Rest, Kit. Help is here. The she-cat bent her slender neck forward and touched the kit's forehead. Warmth spread through her body, and she closed her eyes. Is she dead? Her body is cold. Where did she come from? Quiet, both of you. She's obviously a lost kit. There's no scent of any clan on her. We best bring her back to camp. Lightstar will know what to do. She's moving. The kit slowly opened her eyes, blinking against the sudden, bright sunlight. As her pupils narrowed, adjusting, she made out the outline of 3 silhouettes. Her vision cleared. The largest silhouette was a ginger tom, his fur flecked with white. The 2 smaller shapes were a young silver she-cat and a brown tabby tom. Hello, Kit. Where do you come from? The ginger asked gently. The kit's first instinct was to run from these strange cats as fast as possible. However, the moment she attempted to stand, her legs gave out, and she toppled into the snow once again. The ginger extended a paw in concern, but the kit hissed in fear, and he withdrew. All 3 strangers stared in shock. Well, she's not very friendly, is she? The young tabby mewed, but the silver one shushed him. We do not wish to harm you, the ginger soothed, attempting a reassuring smile. The kit eyed him suspiciously. After a few long moments of hesitation, she pushed herself into an unsteady sitting position. Opening her mouth, a thin wheeze escaped, and she lapsed into a coughing fit. The silver she-cat flattened her ears, letting out a worried mew. We have to get her to Deep Lake. She can barely speak. It could be green cough. The ginger nodded firmly, bending down to address the brown kitten. We're going to take you back to our camp. I'm sure that you will be cared for there. We have prey and warm dens. What? But she's a loner. Or a kitty pet. We can't take her back to camp. If she has green cough, it could spread. And she looks like she's almost old enough to be an apprentice anyway. Hush, Volpaw. Now tell me, what does the warrior code tell us about kits? All warriors must protect kits, be them loners, kitty pets, or from other clans. But, Robinfire, whether she is nearly an apprentice or not is irrelevant. This is a very young cat in need of help, and an honorable warrior will assist. I apologize, Robinfire. The tabby mumbled, looking away. The kit listened to this exchange in mystification. What are they talking about? Warrior code? Camp? Clans? She couldn't comprehend it. Her thoughts were pushed away by a wave of hunger, and she swayed, trembling. The ginger, Robinfire, steadied her with a comforting paw, and the kit could do nothing to protest, only wishing that her head would stop swimming. The ginger warrior grabbed her by the scruff and tried to lift her, then gestured to Volpaw to help her onto the Tom's back instead. Can't be a kitty pet, this one, Robinfire commented. She's far too thin, even for her size, and she smells of the forest. The kit hung limply as she was carried between the thick oak trunks. The snow had melted somewhat as the sun rose, large clumps clinging to the floor here and there. Lying across the strange Tom's back, strips of sunlight warming her pelt, the kit felt a hard lump forming in her throat, as though she were on the verge of tears. Why, she had no idea, but something about the situation seemed familiar. As they walked, the two younger cats conversed in lowered tones, breaking into the kit's trance. She must be only a few moons younger than us. She really is the right age to become an apprentice. I suppose that means she can't be from another clan. No kit would be stupid enough to try exploring another clan's territory when they're so nearly an apprentice. Then where did she come from? I saw a scar above her eye when her fur shifted. Wonder where she got it. Maybe we'll find out? We could ask. The two cats fell silent, and the kit felt a prick of irritation, but then again, she knew how curious they must be. All the same, she wished she could tell them to stop talking about her, as if she couldn't hear. It was not long before the kit became overpowered by the smell of cats. She had not scented this many altogether since. She shivered at the memory, her heart beginning to pound. She can only hope that these cats were as friendly as Robinfire. The forest was beginning to thin up ahead, and sunlight reflected off the white snow. Dimly, the kit remembered that it had been nighttime when she had collapsed. How long was I asleep? She recalled the beautiful she-cat's words in her dream. You have died. If you are willing to return. Did I die? Was I brought back? The four cats pushed their way through a bramble barrier, twigs scraping the kit's pelt. When they emerged, she couldn't help but stare in wonder at the camp. Great rocky walls rose on all sides, forming a circular trench in the ground. Bushes, bare in winter, draping over the sides of the walls, hanging down into the clearing. There were many cats, all looking curiously at the newcomers, and yet more were emerging from bushes and woven bramble dens. A few elderly toms were peeking out of a den woven into the branches of a fallen tree. The tree stretched across one half of the clearing, looking as though it had fallen off the edge of the wall and become stuck at some point in the past. Robinfire! A voice drew the kit's attention to the edge of the clearing. A majestic white she-cat with sharp green eyes emerged from a cave at the top of a jutting ledge. A pathway of fallen rocks led up to the ledge, and the white she-cat slowly descended the pathway as she called. What is that you're carrying? Robinfire gently bent, allowing the kit to slide off his back onto the snow-covered floor. She wrapped her tail around her paws in a weak attempt to protect herself from these unfamiliar cats. Her paws were numbed to the cold by now. The ginger tom replied, It is a kit, Lightstar. We found her half dead in the forest, near the Wind Clan border. It seems as though she traveled a long distance to get here. The white cat's eyes regarded the kit with sympathy, and the kit turned, licking her fur awkwardly, uncomfortable under the green gaze. However, she made sure to keep eye contact. If this was the leader, she could not afford to show weakness. Out of the corner of her eye, she watched the white she-cat, Lightstar, jump down the last of the tumbled rocks and gracefully pad across the clearing. Is it a lost Wind Clan kit? I do not smell any trace of Wind Clan on it, Robinfire replied. Lightstar nodded before returning her gaze to the kit. Greetings. What is your name? The leader asked gently. The kit did not reply immediately, eyes scanning Lightstar for any sign of ill intent. When she detected nothing, she cleared her throat, determined not to cough. She straightened, swaying on weak paws, and replied hoarsely, My name is River. Lightstar nodded. Where do you come from? River faltered for a moment. Under the watchful green gaze, it was difficult to say. More cats had gathered around, all staring intently at River. The kit felt her fur beginning to rise. They're circling around. The exit is blocked. They may seem friendly, but I can't be sure. Lightstar sensed her discomfort and turned to the small, gray she-cat who had taken part in discovering her. Silverpaw, will you please fetch this kit some fresh kill and moss soaked in water? Silverpaw dipped her head. Yes, Lightstar. River watched. She felt the need to protest, to assert that she could look after herself, but her rumbling stomach disagreed. River. The silver-striped kit turned to Lightstar once more. When you are ready to talk, tell Deep Lake. She is our medicine cat. You will be staying with her until you have recovered your strength. River again felt the need to protest. However, it was difficult to do so when she could barely stand. She was in no position to deny such hospitality. Weakly, River bowed her head. It seemed the respectful thing to do. Thank you, she mewed. Lightstar nodded and walked away, muscles rippling beneath her sleek, white pelt. A large scar ran along the leader's foreleg. River stared after her in awe. She had met plenty of powerful cats, but never one so elegant. Left alone under the curious gaze of many cats, River felt a familiar distrust and wariness building inside of her. She needed to hide, or at least show these cats that she was not weak. She flexed her claws, hoping that would at least give the impression she was prepared to defend herself. Here. River jumped and looked up to find Silverpaw. The she-cat's silver eyes sparkled with amusement. Fresh kill, see? She pushed a mouse toward the kit, and River's mouth watered at its scent. Within moments, she had devoured the meal. It was more delicious and fat than any she had tasted before. Even in winter, this forest is rich with healthy prey. Is there more? River meowed eagerly, licking the last of the mouth from her lips. Silverpaw let out a small meow of laughter. There is, but it's probably best you don't scarf down all of our fresh kill. River flattened her ears in embarrassment. Sorry. It's fine. You look like you haven't eaten in a moon. Come to think of it, you may lose that mouse later. Silverpaw, what do you think you're doing? River whipped around at the harsh voice, claws out. A long-legged, black-and-white queen stood before her. She gazed down at River in sympathy, light green eyes tender. This kit must be warmed immediately. How long do you think she's been freezing out in the forest? Silverpaw's kind manner vanished and she lashed her tail. Lightstar asked me to get her food. Do you want me to do two things at once? Of course not. I asked that you stop yammering and get her inside, Dappletail snapped back. I'm fine, River stammered, completely bewildered. Never had she heard two cats fighting over a kindness. I just need some rest, that's all. I'll warm up. It's okay. Dappletail crouched down and looked at River sternly. It is most certainly not okay. My daughter should have taken you to a warm den immediately. She has much to learn about hospitality. Oh, it's just dreadful out here in the cold. Before River could protest, Dappletail gave her a swift lick on her head. The brown kit staggered away, astonished by the motherly gesture. An ache of pain and sorrow shot through her, and before she realized, tears were stinging her eyes. River blinked rapidly, trying to clear them. I will not cry here. You see, she's cold as death, Dappletail exclaimed. Silverpaw stepped forward. I was about to take her to Deep Lake's den anyway. Come on, River. River followed Silverpaw across the clearing. Glancing back, Dappletail watched their progress with a flicking tail. Sorry about that. My mother is extremely irritating. Nothing is ever enough for her. Oh. River was unsure how to respond, so she remained silent as Silverpaw stalked toward a crack in the rocky wall of the camp. She pushed past a curtain of hanging lichen, then gestured for River to follow. The cave beyond was warm and comfortable, smelling strongly of herbs. Despite the chill outside, the lichen protected the space from the cold breeze. Shafts of light illuminated their surroundings, and River noticed an unusually small, slender, tortoiseshell she-cat sitting at the far side of the clearing. Her coat was like an autumn night, dark shades shifting across her back. The she-cat turned as they entered, her pale, yellow eyes sparkling happily. River averted her eyes from the medicine cats, feeling blood rushing to her face. Hello. Larkmoon told me we had a new arrival. Greetings, little one. The brown kitten nodded, paws prickling with wariness. It was all so strange. The cats here were being so nice. and everything was happening so fast. River recalled yet again the beautiful she-cat's words in her dream. Help is here. Maybe I'll be safe. She was swept away by the thought, living with friendly cats that shared their fresh kill in their dens. It sounded too good to be true. With this thought, the kit's mind flashed to a dark memory. Blood dripping from sharp claws. A screech of terror. She shook her head, shivering involuntarily. Deep Lake noticed this and came forward. It's okay. There's no need to be afraid. She placed her thin tail on River's shoulders and instantly went rigid. Her fur rose, and for a moment, those pale yellow eyes seemed to look right through the young cat. Blood. So much blood, Deep Lake croaked. River felt dread wash through her, and she backed against the wall of the cave. Silverpaw, a look of shock on her face, started toward River, but the striped kit kept her eyes on Deep Lake. You keep her away from me, River hissed. Silverpaw glanced at Deep Lake, whose eyes stared through the walls of the cave. It's necessary, isn't it? The medicine cat whispered. Then she blinked, and her eyes slowly focused on the two cats standing before her. Confusion crossed her face. Is everything all right? Deep Lake, what were you saying just now? Silverpaw mewed, warily regarding the tortoiseshell. What? I didn't say anything. She flattened her ears. Felt something strange. River remained frozen, eyes burning into the medicine cat. If she makes a move, I swear River, calm down. River's eyes flicked toward Silverpaw, who extended a paw reassuringly. The brown kit's heart jumped. She let out a hiss and slashed. Her claws connected with the she-cat's, and Silverpaw let out a yelp of pain. 3 new claw marks cutting through her fur. Hey! Deep Lake leapt in between the two, immediately assuming a defensive position. Kit, you better calm down. I don't know what I did, but whatever it is, we do not fight in here. Silence fell for a moment, River and Deep Lake staring at each other, before Silverpaw broke the stillness. It's okay. I'm okay. It's just a scratch, Deep Lake. River's jumpy, is all. I'm sure she didn't mean it. River shook her head swiftly, attempting to clear the pounding in her ears. She forced herself to sheathe her claws. I didn't mean it. The brown kit dipped her head, and Deep Lake slowly relaxed. I'm sorry. Being a medicine cat, I'm accustomed to receiving visions, but normally I can recall what I saw. If I said something strange or did anything to provoke you, please know it was not my intention to scare you. River gave a small nod, but her wariness did not go away. She stayed where she was, swiftly licking her ruffled fur and watching the two as Deep Lake used a wad of cobwebs to bind Silverpaw's wound. Finally, the silver she-cat dipped her head, hesitantly padding toward the threshold. Are you sure it's all right to leave you two? I could stick around for a while until things are a bit more calm. No, we'll be all right. Your mentor is probably waiting for you, Silverpaw. Best not to keep him waiting. After the she-cat had slipped through the lichen curtain, Deep Lake sat, curling her tail over her paws. I must apologize once again. Normally, I am quite pleasant to be around. I swear. River didn't say anything. Eyes narrowed. Deep Lake flicked her tail slightly. Well, you will be staying here for at least a few nights, so we best make an effort to get along. What is your name? River. River? That's a pretty name. We have one thing in common, then. Both our names have to do with water. The tortoiseshell smiles, giving a slight chuckle. Again, River said nothing. The medicine cat really didn't seem dangerous. All signs of hostility were gone, but River could not forget what the she-cat had said. If she somehow had a vision of what I've done, then there's no way she actually trusts me. She may be acting calm so she can kill me later, when my guard is down. With this thought, River could feel her claws slowly digging into the sandy floor. Deep Lake noticed this and let out an impatient sigh. Look, I get it if you don't trust me, especially after what happened. But I swear I'm here to help and to heal you. That's my job. I take care of this entire clan. Is your job to have visions, too? River mewed. In a way, yes. I receive messages from our ancestors, StarClan. Ancestors? Spirits that watch over us. Sometimes, if they wish to communicate, they will send visions to me or to Lightstar. However, when that happens, I normally remember what I saw so that I can try to interpret their meaning. This time was different, and I have no idea why. River flicked her tail. Spirits. Like the cat in my dream? Was she my ancestor? Do your ancestors glow? Yes, I suppose they do. They have stars in their pelts. Why? Deep Lake's eyes widened. Have you seen one? No, she responded hesitantly. She was fairly certain she didn't want to tell a stranger about the cat who had supposedly brought her back to life. River barely knew anything about the glowing tabby anyway. I see. Deep Lake looked slightly disappointed, but seemed to overcome it quickly. Well, it's probably best that you get some rest. From the looks of you, you've traveled a long way with very little food or sleep. I'm tempted to say you were running from something. River stiffened, eyes flashing toward the medicine cat. She waved her tail in dismissal. It's none of my business, don't worry. If you feel like talking, then talk. If not, we can live in silence for the next few days. You'll be sleeping over here. Deep Lake stood, padding over to a moss bed in the corner. It's probably best you don't venture outside the den too often. If you need fresh kill, I'll make sure to get some for you. The brown kit cautiously made her way over to the bed and sat beside it. Deep Lake nodded, turning back toward a crevice in the wall. Herbs were lined up in front of it, clumps of different leaves, berries, and tendrils, all organized in piles. River briefly wondered what each was used for, before thinking instead of how long she was going to have to stay here. Only until I tell the leader why I came. She stared at the entrance and imagined confronting the elegant white cat. Her paws still shook. After I sleep, River decided. There was no point in talking to the warrior's leader while her legs shook from exhaustion. She curled into the soft moss, tucking her nose beneath her tail. Her stomach ached, protesting against the mouse she'd devoured, and she was only now beginning to feel the extent of her muscles' pain. Closing her eyes, she tried not to think of it, calling forth any images that could distract her. The faces she pictured only summoned more pain, and finally she decided to picture a black void. There it was, quiet. There she was, nothing. She drifted away into a fitful sleep. A familiar scent wafted to River's nose, and she opened her eyes. She was in the Greenleaf Place, surrounded by trees heavy with emerald leaves. The gray tabby she-cat River had seen before was padding toward her from across an open clearing. "Hello again, Kit." "Hello," River murmured uncertainly. Amusement lit the she-cat's blue eyes, but her expression remained neutral. "Do not fear. I am an ancestor of yours, and know much about the cats you have taken shelter with. You have nothing to fear. They will not hurt you. In fact, there is much you will do with the clan cats." "Are you a Star Clan cat?" River managed, observing the tabby with a cautious eye. "No, Kit. Although I know of Star Clan, I am not one of them. I am your ancestor alone." "Then what's your name?" "You may call me Forerunner, and you are River, correct?" Nodding, River stepped forward. "Why did you bring me back? What is it I'm supposed to do?" "You know why, River. And as for what you are supposed to do, that will reveal itself in time. All I ask is that you do what you believe is right, for now. I will be here if you need me." The silver-striped Kit lowered her head, staring at the gently swaying grass. Forerunner's nose touched her forehead softly, and the sound of rustling leaves faded away. Hello, Moonshines, and welcome to a new series that I'm going to be reading off. I reached out to a deviant that I have followed for a while on DeviantArt and requested permission to read off a story that they had written some time ago that was a fan-made work in the Warrior Cats universe. It is a story by the name of Scarlet River and is about a young cat named River who came from outside the clans seeking help and her journey going forward after she encountered them. Now, this isn't the only story that I'm hoping to showcase. I am also hoping to find other stories that I find interesting and want to share with others that some people don't feel like they'd have the time to be able to sit down and read with their busy schedules. So this is something that they could listen to before bed or while working. That's kind of what I'm trying to get going with this kind of thing. So I'm going to start with Scarlet River for now, and as I find more people that I'm interested in their stories of, so long as I have the availability and the upload schedule I intend to do, I will be reaching out to them and requesting permission, and so long as they provide it, I will be putting their stories here and giving the reference to their different pages. This story is by a user on DeviantArt called RiverSpirit 456, and on YouTube is RiverSpirit. I will be putting the links to both pages down below. I hope you guys enjoy the story, and if you have the time to actually go and sit down and read the original text, or to check out the speed paints on their YouTube, I would greatly appreciate if you do so, and go drop by and see their amazing work. But for now, this will be uploaded on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it will be a set upload like with Soul of a Wolf at 9 a.m. I hope you guys will keep an eye out for them going forward in any new series I may add. For now, I hope you guys will look forward to listening to this new series. I will be doing it at least between 1 or 2 parts, sometimes maybe 3 at a time, because they are decently long text inserts. So I hope you guys will enjoy it going forward. These videos will be a bit longer than my Soul of a Wolf ones because those are individual chapters going forward, while this is going to be multiple put into one. So this is parts 1 and 2 from their uploads. If you guys enjoy the story, leave a like. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe because not everyone's going to like the kind of content I'm putting out. But if you could leave a like, leave a comment on what part of the story you like going forward. If you have a part that stands out to you while listening, I would very much appreciate it. Drop by, give River a follow on DeviantArt if you have an account, or on their YouTube channel where their speed paints are. I would very much appreciate it. And until next time, for now, it's just bye-bye.